third and final online pitch event for 2024. The focus today, of course, is in vitro diagnostics, life science tools, digital health, health tech, software as a service, telemedicine, and related areas of technology and innovation. We have 11 companies presenting. We'll come to that in just a moment. Quick practical point, and our veteran judges are well familiar with this. If you can just rename yourselves, put a dash name of your company, that will allow our head of flight control to move you into the right breakout rooms as we get into the pitch sessions. So my name is Frederick Nabig. I'm the Managing Director for MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific, based here in Singapore. Joining me we have Glenn Lim, we have Bernice Tan, also based here in Singapore. And from our US team, we have Ayelet Marom, we have Jerry Ciolino, we have Heather Lucas. If anyone has, any of our judges if you have any problems at all with your Kobo login, that's our online judging platform, reach out to anyone from the MedTech Innovator team. We are here on standby and ready to help. What I wanted to do before we get into our lightning round of presentations from our startups today, and then into the pitch sessions, is just give you a very, very quick overview of MedTech Innovator, who we are, what it is that we do. And some of you have seen this before, so do bear with us. We are a non-profit organization. We are the world's largest accelerator and competition for medical devices, digital health, and in vitro diagnostics. The photo you see here is from, I think, 2 years ago, probably. The grand finals taking place on the APAC MedTech Forum stage here in Singapore during the grand finals and the awards ceremony. So we've been running this now for 12 years out of the US. We brought the program to Asia Pacific in 2019. So with the largest accelerator in terms of number of portfolio companies, we have a 5% acceptance rate, well over 600 companies among our alumni, and there will be well over 700, of course, by the end of this calendar year. And 95% of those companies have either been acquired or are still active. So high success rate generally. Those companies have gone on to raise 7.6, I believe it's even closer to 7.7, 7.8 billion US dollars in follow-on equity, 285 FDA approvals, 45 exits or acquisitions. The accelerator program itself in Asia Pacific is 4 months. It is a virtual program, but it's bookended by 2 in-person events that we'll come to in a moment. We give away about 300,000 US dollars in cash and other rewards at the grand finals. So where are we now in the process? Well, we're just about to wrap up our road tour, as we call it. So we've had 400 applications. We will have, by the end of this morning's session, 61 companies pitching. We held an in-person event in Singapore last week, and we'll have Glenn talk a little bit more about that later, with 30 or 29 companies presenting. And we have 11, the final 11 companies for 2024 presenting. And as many of you are aware, we do not select a winner at the end of each pitch event, so there will be no winner announced today. Instead, the way this works is that when we get to early next month, so in about 2 weeks' time, we will sit down with all of our partners and review all 61 companies that have pitched, and we will then, based on their feedback and based on the feedback during the judges' deliberations, select the 20 best companies for the accelerator, and we'll make that announcement probably by mid to late May. So you won't hear from us until then on whether or not you've been selected. We then pick 4 or 5 companies that will compete for the grand prize at the APAC Med Forum in Singapore, but all 20 accelerator companies will be invited for that event. So one Prize winner will walk away with $175,000 in completely non-dilutive cash. We don't take any equity. We don't charge a participation fee. And there'll be a range of other awards as well, including just last week, we announced the JLabs award in partnership with Johnson & Johnson. So that award is now available to any of our 20 accelerator companies. This is essentially the same information, but by date and in a vertical format. I'm not going to go through all of this, but you can see that we are now at the 24th of April, and we'll be running the online pitch event number 3 today. May is when we, as I mentioned, when we go into the selection of the companies, and 12th and 14th is when we will host our Innovator Summit in San Francisco. All of our alumni companies are welcome to join us for this. All of our 20 cohort companies will be invited to this, and as well as our corporate and other partners. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. June through to September is when we run the accelerator, and 5th and 6th September is when we host the showcase and the grand finals. And I see Gabriel is here, and I might invite him later to tell us a little bit more about the event in September. So about the MedTech Innovator Summit, the dates for the summit itself is 12th and 13th of June, just south. It's in Silicon Valley in Mountain View, and this is a 2-day by invitation only event, and we will then we're then working with Wilson Sonsini, one of the largest law firms in California, and we will have all of our cohort companies presenting at the Wilson Sonsini conference on the 14th of June, and that's downtown San Francisco. A few words about the evaluation of all the companies here as part of the selection process. So I won't go through all of these, but when we work with our reviewers and our judges to evaluate the companies, we typically look at them through the lens of sort of value, execution, and momentum. Value is looking at value proposition, IP, health economics, business model, and so on. Execution is about things like team strength, milestones that you may have accomplished, regulatory pathway, funds raised, and so on. And momentum is about operational readiness. It's about the time taken to key milestones, customer validation and clinical validation, if you have that, as well as potential commercial traction. Just to wrap up here, these are some photos from I believe these are from the grand finals at the end of last year that took place here in Singapore. So the fact that you are now addressing our startups here, that you are now in the 60 or so companies that have been invited to present, and only 20 will be selected to the accelerator, means that you effectively stand a 1 in 3 chance to be part of the group that you see here on the main stage on this photo. Before we move on, I always want to acknowledge our partners, because we are an industry-led accelerator, and we wouldn't have been able to do any of this without our partnerships. So big shout out and thank you to Johnson & Johnson MedTech, W.L. Gore, Teleflex, B. Braun Medical, Siemens Healthineers, Cambridge Consultants, as well as our partners at Enterprise Singapore and APAC Med. And you'll hear from many of these today. And of course, for the startups, you'll have the opportunity to meet representatives from many of these organizations during your pitch. Few words about our judging panel. So again, a big welcome and thank you to all of our judges for joining us this morning. These are the judges that will be part of the event today. You'll see many of our corporate partners are represented here, as well as representatives of the ecosystem, service providers, venture capital firms, investors, and many others. For our startups that are joining us, you will have access to what we call the bio book. It's a link that should have been made available to you in one of our emails. So the bio, given that this is a virtual event, you can access the bio book and you can see profiles of the judges as well as their contact details. So do make use of that bio book. to make sure that you stay in touch with your judges. Right. With that, we have come to our what we call our lightning round. And the way that our pitching works this morning is that not all judges will get to see all the companies. There will be 4 rounds of presentations. So each judge will see 4 companies. We have shared the pitch decks of our startups with our judges ahead of time. So the judges have indicated which are their top tier, their top selections to meet, and our judges will meet the companies that they have selected, that they have the greatest interest in. But it means that the judges will not see every company. So the lightning round gives all the judges the opportunity to hear from all 11 companies. The companies will have 60 seconds to present. Please do not go over in time. And we will go in alphabetical order. And I believe first up, so for our startups, if you can get ready, and when I call on you, just unmute yourselves, and then we'll go through the slides one by one. It will also give an opportunity to our audience that are watching our live stream on YouTube and LinkedIn to better understand what these 11 companies are doing. So we'll begin with, before we go into the details of each individual company, let me just give you an overview of all 11 companies. You can see here, these are the 11 companies that will be presenting today. They represent a broad range of technologies and innovations and geographies. We have companies here from India, from Australia, from Korea, from Japan, as well as from Armenia for the first time, and the US, and as well as from Taiwan. So an interesting geographical mix here as well. And you'll hear from each of our companies in just a moment. So let me begin by inviting Po Chen from Cancer Free Biotech. So Po, if you have can unmute yourself. Are you?
I can start.
You're welcome to start.
Ready.
You got 60 seconds.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. 2.5 billion people will get cancer in their lifetime. At Cancer Free Biotech, we are revolutionary the fight against cancer with our EVA system, our organ building system providing the tailored solution for every oncology challenge. With just 20 milliliters of blood sample, our technology allows for fast, simple, and non-invasive liquid biopsy, creating an avatar in a dish that closely mirrors the patient's cancer. This enables screening potential compound with real-world cancer model and creating the Google map for personalized cancer treatment plan for each individual patient. I have worked for Morgan Stanley in New York as a data engineer for more than a decade. I started this company because my father had cancer back in 2015. Our investors, including Draper Venture and Berkeley Skydeck, join us as a partner, as an investor. Together, we can make this world cancer-free. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing more about that during one of the breakouts here. Next up, we have Glea Diagnostics. I believe we have Edmund Sorich here, dialing in from Australia. Good morning, Edmund.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Edmund Sorich. I'm the director and founder of Glea Diagnostics. We have a technology for the diagnosis of traumatic brain injury. I think the quote that's on the screen basically sums up the issues that we currently have. Several billion people a year, 7 million people a year suffer a TBI. Around 50% have prolonged issues, and that's really brought about by the lack of a diagnostic, but also a prognostic as well, which we think we have a game changer in terms of the prognostic aspect. So current methods obviously hinder. They're very objective in nature. We at Glea believe that via our point of care technology that we can personalise treatment and basically set a new standard for diagnostics around TBI. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Edmund. And next up, we have Hindsight, and I believe we have Andrew Pesca presenting. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. And as Frederick said, my name's Andrew Pesca. I'm the founder of Hindsight. And just right now, imagine the challenge of replicating the current seating position that you're in right now, tomorrow, just using notes that you take today. In radiotherapy, precision is critical. Every millimeter matters when targeting crucial areas, especially around the spinal cord and the heart. Hindsight's innovative technology uses AI and mixed reality headsets to create an exact digital template of a patient's treatment position. This not only ensures unprecedented accuracy, but also eliminates human error by making the whole process completely objective. As we continue to face the rising global incidences of cancer, we need a solution for precise and effective patient positioning. With my 13 years background in radiotherapy and my specialized team, we're committed to redefining the standard of radiation therapy globally. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Andrew. Looking forward to hearing more about that during the breakouts. Next up, we have India Health Link, and I believe we have Dr. Satyendra Goel on the line.
Thank you. This is Satyendra Goel. I'm the founder and CEO of India Health Link. As we all know, health and wellness of people is critical to any country. Still, more than half of the world population lack access to basic primary care. Last decade, we have moved from conventional in-person clinical care to digital health, but still both have limitations. Primary health care is essential to most type of care, being the first mode of entry, but it is still remain the least disrupted field. India Health Link has spent last decade in actually solving that very problem by building a new first in the world phygital ecosystem, virtualizing entire primary healthcare experience with an automated physiological screening medical device HPOD and a digital platform HCare, including recently launched breast cancer screening module in it. It's an infinitely scalable model, I would say the practical way to get every person access to affordable primary healthcare. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for that. Moving on, we have Janitri Innovations and Arun Agarwal presenting on behalf of Janitri. Good morning.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. This is Arun, founder of Janitri. Still, in developing world, millions of mothers and babies are still dying or facing morbidity during the phase of pregnancy, labor, and after delivery. And we found a broader problem of lack of critical vitals monitoring and early decision making. And that is a problem we are trying to solve by introducing wearable plus software plus AI/ML based solutions. So right critical monitorings can be happen at the right time, at the right place, and the right decision can be taken. So we're building a 1,000 days journey solution, which includes the whole pregnancy, labor, and up to the newborn becomes 2-year-old, where each and every parameter can be monitored by the staff nurse or the healthcare professional or by the mother at home. So early decision can be taken. So we already have the fetal maternal monitoring devices have been deployed in more than 700 plus hospitals across the country in India. More than 100,000 mothers have been monitored so far, and more than 5,000 mothers referral or intervention have been taken. So looking forward for the support. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun, for that. Looking forward to hearing more about that as well. Next up, we have Germa, and presenting on behalf of Germa is Mr. Artem Vardanyan. Artem, good morning.
Good morning. I'm Artem, founder of Germa. Germa has developed Bluetooth earphone that has capability to measure vital signs such as body temperature, oxygen level, and heart rate to help individuals with health conditions and fitness enthusiasts to monitor their health continuously. It creates personalized user patterns which are analyzed by AI to detect infections in the early stages. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Artem. Next up, we have Nanocube Health, and I believe we have Lisa Milani presenting on behalf of Nanocube. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. If you or I are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer today, only 3 in 10 of us will be alive in a year. It's a silent killer, as early stage disease often has no symptoms. Nanocube Health is working to rewrite this common narrative with bio-inspired nanorobotics to early detect and treat pancreatic cancer. They're designed for cellular level cancer detection and tissue analysis without a biopsy. They can also be loaded with an anti-cancer drug for treatment purposes, enhanced by real-time monitoring capabilities. The technology is both specific and agnostic to allow for a pipeline of future disease applications. We have an externally validated prototype of design. We're supported by a CSIRO initiative, leading Australian universities, early stage investors, and an amazing team of advisors and researchers. We also recently represented the Best of Australian Innovation at South by Southwest Austin, Texas. So please partner with us or invest to transform cancer diagnostics and treatment for global impact.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Lisa. Next up, we have from South Korea, 7.1. And I believe we have Evan Lee presenting on behalf of 7.1. Evan.
Good morning. Yeah, so
Good morning.
Dementia is a big problem now, but then with the aging, it's going to be a bigger problem in the future. And the only thing that's available really is the early diagnosis, because all the drugs that are introducing the market preconditions the early diagnosis. But then the undiagnosed ratio of the potential dementia patients in the US is 91%, around 85% globally. So we came up with the AI-powered the dementia screening solutions that is powerfully simple and accessible for the seniors to do, but then rigorous in analysis for the doctors to use. It takes about a minute for the seniors to answer a question that we throw, and we use about 20 different data points to analyze their voice data as well as their answers to look at their cognitive deterioration. We have been on the publication 3 times, and the last cohort sensitivity was about 90%. We're commercializing at the moment in Korea. We have contracted with the government agency in Korea as well as the top insurance companies in Korea, and we are comprised of about 19 professionals and each experts in their areas. Thank you, and come talk to us. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Evan, for that. Look forward to hearing more. Next up, we have Target Trust Biotech from Taiwan. We have Dr. Zhang presenting on behalf of Target Trust. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. And this is Target Trust Biotech. Therapy resistance and drug side effects are 2 major problems in cancer therapy. Unfortunately, current methods are unable to detect cancer therapy resistance or guide precision dosing in real time to reduce the problem. Our invention, tumor small transduction liquid biopsy, it can detect cancer therapy response in real time. Our product is the world's only product to detect cancer therapy resistance in real time to guide the correct therapy and to prevent the patient from continuing to take ineffective drug. Also, it can guide the precision dosing in real time to reduce drug side effects in cancer therapy. Our product is a game changer for cancer treatment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zhang. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Tech Doctor from Tokyo, Japan, and presenting on behalf of Tech Doctor is David McDonald. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. So Tech Doctor is a 5-year-old startup in Japan focused on scaling digital biomarkers. We have over 1 billion wearable devices, both consumer focused as well as for care. Yet a lot of these devices and the data they provide on a daily basis aren't used effectively yet for research and development and in diagnostics and in therapeutics. So the Tech Doctor over the last 5 years has developed a team of both physicians and technologists who are developing digital biomarkers using this wearable data, both collected, cleaned, and labeled. And we have over 20 disease segments already today developed with digital biomarkers and have implemented about 60 different projects with Japanese pharmaceuticals, with consumer product groups, as well as researchers and other institutes. We'd love to talk more about working with you today, and thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Next up, and this is, I believe, our final company of our 11 that are doing their 1-minute presentations, is Telecare, and I believe we have Michael Wang here. Michael, good morning.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Wang, the CEO and founder of Telecare. So the problem we're trying to solve is that often patients aren't in the same place that they need to see doctors in. And secondly, traditionally, healthcare has a very low tech adoption. So we've consolidated and created a platform where we right now host 300 specialists on the platform for secondary care, things like rheumatology, neurology, pediatrics. That's more than 1% of all specialists in Australia. And we deliver these platforms through our own in-house technical platform, where we enhance the specialist and the delivery through AI and other technology, allowing them to spend more time with the patients and less time on administrative busy work. We annualize right now about $8 million Australian dollars in revenue, and we were founded 6 months before COVID. Looking forward to speaking to everyone. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Michael. Looking forward to hearing more. With that, we've come to an end of the lightning round. So you have now heard from all 11 companies. This is also the point at which we will part ways with our live stream audience on YouTube and LinkedIn, and we'll go into breakout rooms. And I'll tell everyone, all our judges and startups in a moment, exactly how that's going to work. But let me just say thank you to those of you who've joined us live on YouTube and LinkedIn. Do stay tuned for our next series of online events. That will be our webinar series that's likely going to begin in early July. And keep an eye on our social media for that. So Bernice,